Good morning, and welcome to our Food for Thought segment. This is sports top betting picks and plays for the NHL, the National Hockey League. My name is Abby. For the NHL, it's February the 1st. We have a slate of games for Saturday. We have about 2 afternoon games, and the rest are night games. So we're going to start off with the first game on the docket, Chicago at Florida. This is a 1 p.m. start this afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. The total is 6, the over-under is 6, and Florida is favored in this matchup. Right now we're seeing some 5.5 starting to come down in this game. That's Chicago at Florida. We will get into this matchup here. The matchup head-to-head. Now they did play early in the season last year, November 21st in Chicago. At that time, the total was 5.5. Chicago did win 3-1 at that time, and it was under 5.5. Since then, the last 10 games for Chicago, 2-5-2-1, 6-3-1 to the over. Chicago on a 3-game road trip. They're 1-1 on the road trip. This is the third and final game in Florida today. Overall, they are 1-4 last 5 games, and are 2-2-1 over/under last 5 games. On the Florida side, Florida 5-4-1 last 10 games, 5-5 over/under. Right now, they are 3-2 last 5 games, and 2-3 to the under. That's the situation with this game. This game here, I'm gonna take the under in this game. I say the under because I noticed in this game here that the line had dropped. It was 6. It's opened up at 6, and it's dropped down to 5.5 for good reason. I feel that both of these teams, the way they're playing right now at their current form, they're playing basically to the under, in my opinion. The style of play is to the under, from what I'm seeing here. Chicago's first 2 games on the road especially have gone under. So to me, from what I'm seeing here, they're playing defensive style of hockey. And Florida, same thing. They're in that type of mode too. So I do like the under 5.5 goals. I do like this play a lot. Everything correlates to the under. First game, same thing. It was 5.5 and went to the under. So everything correlates to the under. So under 5.5 goals for me. I like that. Next game, Rangers at Boston. This one, total over under 5.5. That's how it opened up. Boston favored at home. Right now we're seeing some 6s. It's gone up to 6. That's the Rangers at Boston. In this matchup here, they've only played once. They played a month ago, January 2nd in New York. The total was 5.5, and it was 2-1 New York. Since then, the Rangers are 6-2-2 last 10 games, 4-6 to the under. Rangers are 2-3 the last 5 games. The Rangers have lost 2 straight games at home, so they're heading on the road now. And their last 5 games, they are 3-2 to the over. The last 5 games. Boston last 10 games, 5-4-1. The last 10, 7-3 to the over. Boston as well, they've lost 2 straight games. And they are 2-3 last 5, and 3-2 to the over. 3-2 to the over, and 2-3 to the under. That's the Rangers. Both teams on losing streaks. This is interesting. Yeah, this game's going to be a pass. I have no plan on this game. Um, the money line's even. It's an even. It's pretty much even here. Yeah, the money line's even here. So definitely, I have to take the. I gotta go. I gotta pass on this game. There's no play on this game whatsoever. The next game we're gonna look at Nashville at Pittsburgh. This one here, the total opened up at, let's see, 6.5. Pittsburgh favored. Right now, we are seeing 6.5s across the board. Nothing has really changed. The number's still the same. In this game here, we look at the head-to-head. It played last month, actually 2 months ago, December 19th in Nashville. The total was 6. It was 5-4 Nashville. They won, actually 5-4 Pittsburgh, excuse me, in overtime. So Pittsburgh did win in Nashville. It's a high-scoring game. Since then, Nashville is 5-5 last 10, 7-3 to the over. Nashville 2-3 last 5 games, and are 4-1 to the over last 5 games. So Nashville's lost 3 straight games. So offensively they are scoring, but defensively is pretty bad. So 2 of the 3 losses have been on the road, so their road woes continue. Let's see, on the Pittsburgh side, 3-7 last 10, 3-5 and 2 to the under. Pittsburgh first home game back after a 7-game road trip, where they were 2-3 and 4 on a 7-game road trip, and 2-3 last 5 games. 1-3-1 to the under last 5 games. So you know how I am already. Teams coming off a long, extensive road trip, first game back at home. I gotta take. This is an interesting game. I gotta take Nashville on the money line. Nashville on the money line for me. I know Nashville's lost 3 straight games. I understand that, and they have not won it. They have not won. They have not won in 3. They haven't won any road games at all. But for me, the thing is, it's a fade on Pittsburgh because they just came off a long, extensive road trip. You know, I don't like to back teams that come off a long, extensive road trip, with the first game being at home off a road trip. So this is why it's a fade on that, and it's more of a play on Nashville money line in this case. So that's the reason why I'm fading that. I like Nashville here. Next game here, it's going to be Minnesota at Ottawa. So Minnesota 5.5 point favorites. Minnesota at Ottawa. The total is 5.5, and the Ottawa's favored. So this one's still at 5.5. That's Minnesota and Ottawa. This one here, it did play about 2 months ago. It was in Minnesota, December 29th, towards the end of the year. The total at that time was 6. Ottawa won in Minnesota 3-1. It was under 6 goals. Minnesota after that 5-5 last 10 games, 3-6-1 to the under. Ottawa 7-2-1 last 10 games, 2-8 to the under. So Minnesota's won 3 straight games. All the games have been on the road, so they're 0-2-1 so far in this road trip with the under, and 3 straight wins. So they're on a 5-game road trip. 3-0 on the road trip so far. And right now, overall last 5 games, 1-3-1 to the under last 5 games. Ottawa 7-2-1 last 10 games, 2-8 to the under. Ottawa's also won 3 straight games. They won 3 straight games on the road. 3-2 last 5. 1-4 to the under. So I definitely like the under in this game, for sure. Under 5.5 goals. I like the under in this game. Definitely like the under. As for the side, I'm going to take... I know Ottawa won the first game. They won 3-1. It was a very tight game. But I'm going to take Minnesota here on the puck line, plus 1.5 goals. I think this is a close game. That's the only way to deal with this type of game, where both teams are on winning streaks. Get value on the puck line. So I found that there's value on the puck line at plus 1.5 for Minnesota. Very good value there. And the under 5.5 goals. I like that as well. Next game, Toronto at Edmonton. This game, the total is 6. Money line is 150. Edmonton favored. Right now we're seeing 6.5 on the board. We'll look at this game further. That's Toronto Edmonton. So this game here we have in November 16th of last year. This is the first meeting of the season. Actually, the second meeting of the season, but the first meeting was November 16th. It was in Toronto. The total was 6, and the Leafs won in overtime, 4-3, and they went over the total. So this game here, the last 10 games in Toronto, 4-6. Last 10, 4-6 to the under. 2-3 last 5 games, and 2-3 to the under. So the Leafs have lost 3 straight games. 2 of the 3 losses have been at home. The other loss has been on the road. So they've gone 3 straight unders as well. So 2-3 to the under there. So Edmonton is 7-2-1 the last 10 games, 4-6 to the under. And that's 3-2 last 5 games, and 1-4 to the under. So this game here, let's see. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, the only way I can see this, I'm looking at this game here. I'm looking at the last few games for the Leafs in Edmonton. The only way I can look at this, I understand here that it's gone to 6.5. But the way I'm playing this game, I'm going to play the under. Just the way these teams are playing right now, just the current form of these two teams, I got to look at under 6.5 goals. Like I said, the style of play these teams are playing with lets me to believe that this is going to be an under game, under 6.5 goals. Now, as for the side, let's look at this again. I'm going to take Edmonton here. Edmonton to win this game. I like Edmonton on the money line. I don't trust the Leafs right now. They've lost 3 straight games. Yeah, I don't trust the Leafs at all. I like Edmonton here. Edmonton lost a close one to Detroit. They could have won 4 straight games. Edmonton could have won 4 straight games. So they lost a shootout to Detroit. So right now on this homestand, they're basically 3-2 on the homestand. To me, they should be 4-1. They just lost a tough one to Detroit at home. And this is the final game of the homestand too. So I believe Edmonton wins this game and finishes off the homestand strong. And it'll be under the total, under 6.5 goals. Edmonton money line. That's my play here. I don't see how the Leafs are going to compete in this game. I don't see it. The next game I'm going to look at, Tampa Bay and the Islanders. This total is 6, and Tampa Bay is favored. Right now it's come down to 5.5. We'll look at this matchup here. Let's see. This one here, 8-2 last 10 games in this series. So this is the first meeting between these two teams. Islanders 8-2 last 10, 2-8 to the under. Islanders on a 3-game road trip. They won the first game on the road trip, 3-0. Now they're in Tampa. Last 5 games they've won. They're 5-0 the last 5 games. Overall, they've won 6 straight games. And last 5 here on the winning streak, they are 1-4 the last 5 games. And they're 1-5 to the under last 6 games. 1-4 last 5 games to the under. So the winning streak for the Islanders, they've done it with defense. Defense has been winning them games on this 6-game winning streak. Tampa Bay 5-5 last 10, 5-4-1 to the over. Let's see. Tampa Bay 2-3 last 5 games, 1-4 to the under. Yeah, the only way I can play this game, the current form of both teams is very defensive oriented. So with that being said, I have to look at this game, Islanders Tampa Bay. I have to look at the under 5.5 goals. This is the way I'm going to look at it. And I do like the Islanders here on the puck line, plus 1.5 goals. I like the Islanders here to stay within a goal of Tampa. So plus 1.5, I like that, and I like the under 5.5 goals. The next game we're going to look at for hockey, Winnipeg, Washington. The total is 5.5. Washington favored. And this one, still at 5.5. This game here, this is the first meeting between these two teams. Winnipeg last 10 games, 8-2 last 10, 5-5 last 10 to the over/under. This is the 3rd road trip for Winnipeg. They're in Washington. Final road trip of a 3-game road trip. They are right now, Winnipeg, they are 5-0 last 5 games. And they are 3-2 to the over last 5 games. Washington, 7-1-2 last 10 games, 1-9 to the under. So this is the first home game back off of a 5-game road trip. And right now, 3-2 last 5 and 2-3 to the under. So both teams right now in their last, let me see here. Yeah, both teams are in opposite directions. Winnipeg 3-2, their last 5 to the over. Washington 1-4 in the last 5 to the under. So let's look at this game further in greater detail here. First game back for Washington off a road trip. Let's see here. Yeah, for me, the way I'm playing this game, I have to take Winnipeg on the puck line. Plus, Winnipeg on the puck line plus 1.5 goals. against the Fade on Washington. They're coming off an extensive road trip, and I like to fade teams in that position. So that's why I like Winnipeg on the puck line. Now, I wouldn't talk you off a money line either. If you want to do the money line, I wouldn't even talk you off of that either. But for me, I'm taking Winnipeg plus 1.5 goals. I like that play for myself. Next game. Los Angeles at Carolina. This one here opened up Carolina favored, and the total is 5.5. Right now, we're still seeing 5.5s. Now, I'm not sure if I showed you guys earlier where we're getting this information from, but we are oddslogic.com. This gives you the latest updated information, up to the minute total moves for the total, up to the date information for the money line plays, and injury report. That's oddslogic.com if you're wondering. All right, so we're back here now. This particular game here, that's LA Carolina. Let's see. Let's look at the matchup here, LA Carolina. This is the first meeting of the season between these two teams. 2-7-1 LA, last 10 games, 4-6 to the under. And they're on a 5-game road trip. This is the final game of the road trip. They are 0-4 on the road trip. 1-5 total to the last 5 games, and are 1-4 to the under. So clearly LA struggling to score. This is no surprise. They're averaging about 2 goals, at least 2 goals on the road trip. Carolina, 7-1-2 last 10, 2-7-1 to the under. They are 4-1 last 5 games, and are 1-4 to the under. So again, the only way to play this game, in my opinion, as we look at both of these teams, for me, the only way I'm going to play this, I'm looking at let's see, just one moment. We're going to be looking into this further. Yeah, I'm looking at the under 5.5 goals. Not only that, but I'll take it a step further. Not only under 5.5 goals, but you want to look at a team total. Under 2.5 goals. This is a good one. So under 2.5 goals, Los Angeles team total, and under 5.5 goals. So those are the 2 plays I have on this game, and they're very profitable. They have been hitting, especially the last 2 hockey games. They're hitting pretty well. So that's the way to go for that game. I like that a lot. Next game, Detroit at Calgary. This is actually Detroit Calgary. This is actually the last. Detroit Calgary is the last game that we're going to be previewing for hockey. So Detroit 5.5 is the total, and Calgary favored at home. Now we're seeing it pop up at 6. Circa has 6, but mainly right now it's 5.5 as of right now. Detroit Calgary. They already played. They played last year in November, early in the season. This is in Detroit. The total is 5.5, and Detroit won 2-1 in overtime. This is at home. Now the second meeting is in Calgary. Since then, Detroit, the last 10 games against other opposition, 6-3-1 last 10, 4-4-2 over under. Detroit on a 4-game road trip. This is the second game of the road trip. They won the first game, 3-2 at Edmonton. And right now, Detroit's won 4 straight games. That includes the game at Edmonton. They won in a shootout. And they are 4-1 last 5 games. 4-1 the last 5 games. And 1-3-1 to the under, Detroit. So Calgary, 6-4 last 10, 4-6 to the under. Calgary 3-2 last 5, and are 3-2 to the over. So the first meeting, Detroit won 2-1 at home, and now they're in Calgary. Let's see. Let's see the. Let's look at this carefully. Detroit, Calgary. Oh man, this one. This is a little tricky one. Wow. I'm gonna look at. I don't want to go in front of Detroit's winning streak because Detroit's on a hot streak. They don't like going in front of teams like that. So the way to play this game, it's going to be Detroit on the puck line, plus 1.5 goals. That's the only way for me to play this game. They stay within a goal against Calgary, and I wouldn't talk you off of Detroit winning in Calgary. Yeah, I wouldn't talk you off of that at all. Would not even talk you off of that. But for me, it's just Detroit in the puck line, plus 1.5 goals. Keep it within a goal. That's the way I'm going to approach this game. So that's it for the National Hockey League. We've covered all the games for the National Hockey League. Thank you for joining me. My name's Abby, once again. Whether you fade or follow, it's up to you. I just choose the picks, make the picks, and see it how I see it, and pick how I feel for the game. So whether you fade or follow, I hope you cash your tickets. Good luck to you. Stay true to yourself. Stay blessed. Stay humble. Believe in yourself. Peace. See you tomorrow.